Yes, because Netflix thinks gaming is their biggest competition for eyeballs, and you must have seen this already in India as well. With everybody locked in, gaming suddenly was
Hmm.
one way in which kids, millennials, and not just them, everybody was coming together. It's a range of social experience that has evolved over the pandemic, both in content and delivery, and I
Hmm.
think it's the single largest contributor for
Hmm.
consumer tech.
Welcome, Niyati. It's so nice
Thank
to have
you.
you on my
Thank you
show.
so much for having me.
So, Niyati, thank you first of all joining from all the way from London. So it's a new era of customer communication. They say, because
Yeah,
mobile only voice.
absolutely.
Yeah, the voice assistant surges. It's like 130% estimated this year, and people are definitely empowered by the use of the voice, but marketers are still figuring out how best to leverage this. What would be your best examples and your sense of how big a force this is going to be?
If you look at it, voice can just be the first point of entry for customers,
Hmm.
for a brand's journey, actually.
Hmm.
And you can look at all voice assistants,
Hmm.
eh, all of them powered by AI, your Google Homes, Alexa, Series of the world,
Hmm.
etc. They're all investing and heavily
Hmm.
into skills. And it's not across languages, it's across accents.
Hmm.
And the reason why they're doing that, such a heavy investment, across the world, it's not
Hmm.
just one market or the other, one language versus the other.
Hmm.
With just one language, Hindi, the number of accents that
Hmm.
Alexa is working on, um, uh, is immense. Some of these the voice assistants can be hyper personalized.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And that kind of skill sets, when AI tech backgrounds, it requires an entirely different workforce.
Hmm.
I am not sure how many industries and how many marketers are ready to get onto that bandwagon,
Hmm.
but the tech is always there. It's something like, for example, if I have to say, education and learning, the technology was always there.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
uh, the way we are interacting, but the schools weren't open to pick that up, or
Right.
a lot of educators weren't open to use that technology. It's just that whatever as a trend, you always have an industry trend and then a consumer trend. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
And if I say between those two gaps is where all your startups are. Okay.
Hmm.
There will be zillions of startups coming up, picking up an industry trends, trying to see whether it will match the consumer trend,
Hmm.
go bust probably if the match doesn't happen, or scale up when it does.
Hmm.
So that's how it is, and the
Hmm.
pandemic was able to crunch forward what
Yeah.
probably was predicted for 2030 as a
Hmm.
consumer trend
Hmm.
much forward. Like, for example, in the next couple of years there will be so many things, and voice is one of them. Voice
Hmm.
is definitely one of them. The benefits of voice are immense.
Hmm.
Obvious implications would be in banking, other hand-free interactions.
Hmm.
Um, Here in the UK, you have voice recognition for issue resolution
Issue
across all,
resolution. Hmm.
like, Sky, Virgin Media, BT, all of them start with voice.
Hmm.
And as you move on, there will be multiple skills that the marketers can eventually use on voice.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then you said gaming, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Gaming, definitely. I mean, I guess it's the new social platform, really. It's not just another channel for marketers to utilize. I
Hmm.
think it's really becoming mainstream. So one of the very unconventional examples, if I had to give you, is the US general elections, when Joe
Hmm.
Biden, Kamala Harris campaign. Those guys had used Animal Farm, the game, basically, where they launched official yard signs for their campaign
Hmm.
in Animal Crossing. It's a Nintendo game, to engage with voters online, and not just the kids who are playing that game, the parents who oversee that. And it really hit off. So that's one way of engaging. It's
Hmm.
efficient brand placements really
Hmm.
is what we can talk about.
Hmm.
You can easily, and the gaming communities are transforming into social networks, and it's becoming an integral part of the popular culture in
Hmm.
so many ways, and
Hmm.
it's pretty awesome storytelling. And you can have very niche games,
Hmm.
interest people who are extremely involved. You
Hmm.
get people who are evangelists really around that. So brands can actually well leverage that. They can pick that up, they can weave their way effortlessly into that conversation.
Hmm.
Talk about smart placement. Yeah, you can
And in a
absolutely do that.
group, in a peer, within a peer, you're taking on prominence as a brand. You are taking on story and emotions, and with high engagement and performance metrics also, because you can track the behavior, and a lot of
Absolutely.
you have data as well on it. So this is that sweet spot, like you were saying earlier, that it's not either or. I mean, there are a lot of things that are emerging today where the branding aspect and the performance aspects, I mean, together is coexisting to only make marketing decisions more efficient and reduce risk while benefiting the consumer.
And gaming has made a serious comeback in all the old games. Nostalgia has played its role. You've got Sonic Hedgehog, Pac-Man, and others. They made a comeback in the US out of the blue.
Hmm.
And Fortnite, the biggest competition, especially for Netflix, for customer screen time and purse. So
Hmm.
absolutely. And very soon there's going to be a almost like a tectonic shift happening when you see all the Googles of the world, Microsoft of the world, Sony of the world coming together. Right now,
Apple.
what happens is you have your Xbox or Nintendo and very specific games.
Hmm.
Now, if you and it's very platform specific.
Hmm.
So Google has come up with Google Stadia. Microsoft has also come up with a Game Pass, and Apple's come up with Arcade Plus.
Right.
So that is the early view of things to come. Gamers are looking for ways to access game libraries across platforms. Because you can't have four different. You can't have a PlayStation. You can't have an Xbox. Everything
Hmm.
together in a household, right? So
Hmm.
with with the advent of 5G and the advent of these kind of gaming libraries which are democratized, you can bring down subscription to gaming.
Hmm.
And in the UK they're basically talking about a 6 to 12 pound subscription, and that is going to fly. So you can access hundreds of games in the arcade across devices, and that
Hmm.
is across your phone, computer, your television, etc.
Oh my God, this is blowing my mind. And I'm a little concerned also as a mother. But yeah, I mean, here is gaming becoming social media, getting streamed, and now you're talking about subscription and rates such that you can just. I mean, whatever has happened to entertainment is going to happen to gaming. So yes, like you said, it's going to be another platform, another channel for communication. So,
Yeah, a popular one at that.
what is your view on Clubhouse? Social media view on Clubhouse?
I think Clubhouse is the new bright shiny tool, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
um, like WhatsApp, I never really understood the valuation. I don't understand the valuation of Clubhouse at all.
Hmm.
I think it gained traction because of Oprah Winfrey and the lot basically using that. It attracted a lot of people who wanted to experiment.
Hmm.
Definitely provides a safe haven. You can that your conversations can't leave the app, so
Hmm.
it makes it a little more palatable for everyone to just join in.
Open up. Yeah.
But then the problem with that is there's no content moderation. I don't see any security or any strong antisocial behavior or abuse measures in place.
Hmm.
We don't know what's happening there because
Hmm.
nothing can come out, right? And
Hmm.
I for Clubhouse, the growth really will depend on how quickly they can bring these measures in place and
Hmm.
how meaningful and value added their these conversations can be for people. if
Hmm.
i if I have to kind of, it should feel like a party conversation. It should not feel like somebody promoting themselves or
Hmm.
their idea or their firm, etc.
Hmm.
So you see a lot of murmurs from both ends, like both positive and negative,
Yeah.
but it remains to be seen, whether
Really,
it's a
yeah.
safe place
Yeah.
and how that evolves. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. So well, so much put in perspective. Earlier, I remember you saying that it's like being invited to a party with the chance to interact with the celebs, and I found that analogy very, very interesting. For people who've not really explored this, what is this? It kind of gives a peg in terms of what kind of experience they can expect. Digital marketing 2021 top two trends, if you had to pinpoint briefly one.
I think conversational marketing will be one thing that I will definitely bet on, because I
Hmm.
think that is one way across both digital marketing and digital advertising hype cycles, so to speak. It's an amalgamation of, user generated content, social, interactive marketing,
Hmm.
where across channels, across radio, gaming, television. So conversational marketing, like I said, right, you are part of a conversation as a brand, you're part of a conversation within a game,
Hmm.
within a social setting,
Hmm.
and you are introducing ideas by way of conversation. So I think that one trend is definitely going to pick up. Yeah.
Very interesting, because herein the brand also stops looking at itself as the giver of the data. It just becomes part of the group, and it's participating as an equal. And the whole equation between the brand and the consumer is very different. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yes.
other thing I think will if I have to make a choice is, and I want to bet on,
Mhm.
is blockchain for advertising.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it's like I said, digital advertising, a quarter of marketers really are looking at more than 90% of the spend to be on digital advertising, and
Hmm.
it's already crossed traditional advertising. That
Mhm.
widens the gap as we go forward, and more there will be this requirement of making it more efficient, making it more reducing the chaff, really, so to speak. We
Mhm.
want to pay only for human interactions and not for bots. This podcast series is an amazing way, to tie in various threads within the branding, marketing, communication sector. So you're doing a brilliant job. If you want to hear about interesting, amazing conversations about branding and marketing, like, share, and subscribe to Jacked with Just Ravi.